Hi everyone, welcome back to WHU TV. My name is John, your host as always, and I hope you're all doing well under these very, very difficult circumstances. This is another episode of Daily Live Chat with John, episode 19, an open Q&A where I get you to ask your questions, and I also talk to you and pose you guys some questions as well. So as you may have noticed, first and foremost, I am now wearing the proper replica 1980 FA Cup final shirt. It literally came through the door today. I'll say through the letterbox, but yeah, it literally got delivered today. I really actually quite like it. I've no idea why the club didn't do this style in the first place. Now, for those who don't really know, haven't really noticed that much of a difference, it's obviously got the Admiral emblem on here as well, and it's also got the Admiral bit down the striping, which was exactly the same as not exactly the same. I think it was more white in the original strip, but yeah, I really enjoy this. As I say, I don't know why it's taken the club this long to do, but it is what it is, without making any more of a meal about it. So while everybody is pretty much gathering up conversations by the looks of things, because nobody's come through on the chat as yet, but every time I say that, all of a sudden a big plethora of things come through. So first topic I want to talk about, a couple of anniversaries again. Today is the 15th anniversary of the playoff final where we lost the 2-goal advantage and drew 2-2 with I think, was it Preston? I can't remember who it was now, but it's that was a bit of a shocker. And also, likewise, today is the 25th anniversary of Ludot McCloskey's legendary game, where we played Man United at home at the end of the season, and we basically stopped Man United from winning the table as a result of it. Because and Blackburn won the league up at Anfield. I think that was a draw, if I remember correctly. So let's see who's in the chat. Jay's in. Hello, mate. Good to see you. Ben saying that one looks better than the all white one. I think, yeah, it does. It looks more. It's more reminiscent of the original one. Peter's in as well. Hello, mate. Good to see you. Ben says 95. Ludo had a blinder. Yep, agreed. Robert's in. Hello, morning, Rob. Hope you're doing right. And Andy's back once again. Hello, mate. Hope you're doing okay. So yeah, as I say, 25 years since Ludot McCloskey helped Blackburn win the league. 25 years ago. It's been 4 years since Leicester won the league as well, for that matter. But Jesus Christ, it's coming around. These things are really starting to mount up. They really are. Now, there's been a lot of talk about season tickets and refunds and all this sort of stuff. So for those who may or may not know, Hammers United, they've contacted the club to ask them for guidance as to exactly what, to put up a statement, I should say, to see what the club's point of view is for getting this sorted out. Because at the end of the day, it looks very, very much like football is coming back within the next 5 weeks, maybe. As it stands at the moment, and I'll talk about the meeting that went ahead today with the culture secretary, because we know the Premier League, the English Football League, and also the FA met with captains and managers. And Noble, it seems, has made his feelings quite clear. And has Troy Deeney, according to the Times' article I was reading earlier today. Noble asked the question around the ethics of trying to resume the football this season when personal protection equipment remains in short supply for the NHS workers, and he was told that it would be safer going to the supermarket because of testing. Now, Troy Deeney also came out saying, I don't go to I don't want to be going to the supermarket. And that was quite an interesting thing that he said. That he has a choice when it comes to going to the supermarket. Now, also other things have been discussed in that meeting as well today. A range of other, which basically were raised over the plans of restarting the league, which include a lack of detail and how the Premier League sides are supposed to train while allowing contact between players. Now we know from various sources over the last few days that they're not really allowed to tackle. They're not really, and if they are going to be tackling, they need to be turning their heads away from each other. That is a big, stupid thing. If I'm completely honest with you, Mark, hello mate, good to see you. And he says he was there for the Great Dane. I was there, great day after the game. The Tannoy announcer wished Man United luck in the FA Cup a week later, and lots of West Ham started singing Everton, their opponents. Fo's in, hello mate, good to see you. Darren's in as well, hello mate. Nice shirt, John. Yeah, it is a cracker, anyway. It is a cracker. But also going on with everything else as well, for that matter, there's also liability. Who will be responsible if a footballer falls ill with COVID-19? Very, very good question posed to the posed to everybody. Very, very good question. And also around about talking about waivers as well. Will Premier League players have to sign waiver forms if they agree to the new protocols? And likewise, will they be signing waivers to say that the FA or the Premier League or the club, for that matter, aren't liable for any insurance claims, which I don't think they will, given the wages they're on, if they fall ill? It's interesting. Some managers, which seem to be apparently Jose Mourinho and Southampton's Ralph Hasenhüttl, I think you pronounce that, have argued they need 4 weeks to get their players up to speed. And I completely agree with that. At the very, very latest, at the very, very least, I should say, let me just switch the light on, it's getting a bit dark in here. At the very, very least, it should be 4 weeks worth of training, which is why I'm saying about 4 or 5 weeks time, personally. Robert makes a good point. Imagine getting a yellow card for not turning your head when getting tackled. Mick Smith's back. Hello, mate. Good to see you. Hope you're doing all right. And also for testing as well, the club have been told they have to limit testing to just 40 people. It's a little bit difficult when it comes to match day. Because you've got the starting 11, you've got the substitutes, you've got the manager, you've got the fitness staff, you've got the coaches, blah, blah, blah. It's not. So this is very, very likely to reduce some, it's very, very likely to force some clubs, I should say, to reduce their backroom staff. Now, as I say, I mean, there's a lot of stupidity on this, a lot of stupidity. But guys, let me know your thoughts about this. I mean, because obviously, as football supporters, we want the football to come back as quickly as possible. But at the same point, we don't want any stupidity from anybody, much less the teams that are playing. So, guys, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on this. Now, if I'm completely honest with you guys, I've been really struggling today. I took today off work because I've been really, really struggling with this isolation. It's been on and off for me for the last 7 to 8 weeks. I've had good spells and I've had bad spells, but today I really, really was really down. There's no way of putting it. I've been really, really down. So if you guys are struggling with it as well, by all means, please do let me know. That I say the whole point of these daily live evening streams is so that we can all talk to each other, not just about football, but everything else. Whatever's affecting us at the same point. As I said, guys, this is an open forum, so you can ask me any questions. I'll answer everything honestly, as I always do. But as I say, because I see everyone's asking how everybody's keeping, and it's great. I'm loving that fact. We've got a very, very good community in here, which is growing ever so slightly every few days. But it's if we're all suffering, if any one of you suffering, just by all means, just talk to us. There's no harm in saying you're suffering. There's no harm, absolutely no harm in it whatsoever. At the end of the day, mental health is just as important as physical health. Andy says, if players have to sign waivers, I can see a lot not doing it. Agreed. Yeah. especially Wilshire, I reckon. Now, it's also interesting to read because reports coming out within the last hour or so from Culture Secretary Oliver Dowden, who said that today's meeting with the EFL, the Premier League, and the Football Association was positive, and that they progressed plans for sport to resume, including plans that should include widening access for fans to view live coverage and ensure finances from the game's resumption supports the wider football family. Now, that's very, very business way of saying we're not making any money back to the TV companies because you're still going to get the broadcasts. That's the way I'm reading it. He also said that we all agreed that we will only go ahead if it is safe to do so and the health and welfare of players, coaches and staff comes first. It is up to the football authorities to agree and finalise the details of their plans, and there is a combined will to achieve this for their fans, the football community and the nation as a whole. The government and our medical experts even will continue to offer guidance and support the game. So basically, from one way of putting it, it is passing. The government are now passing it back to the football authorities as they should be, to be honest with you, because they've given their thoughts on everything. So Mick is saying, have the Prem got people out in Germany watching how they are doing this? I don't know, Mick. It hasn't come out, but logic would dictate that there would be something. Fo says, JP, I'm suffering. I need soothing music. You're not going to get it on this channel, I'm afraid, mate. Lag King Gamer 21Gs, can you say happy birthday to my little brother, whose name is Nick Gurr? Well, happy birthday, Nick. It's always not a good thing under these circumstances to have a birthday because you can't really do anything. But I hope you've had a good day no matter what, son. Ben says he's well, bored but doing okay. Henry says, JP, you just have to keep going with it and going. It won't last forever. Agreed, mate. Agreed. But it certainly feels that way at the minute. Fo, I'm not ignoring you in any shape or form, mate. I'm hosting a channel. Come on, you know this. You've been watching this long enough. Come on. But guys, give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts of what I've been talking about for the last 10, 12 minutes. Because Andy's really the only one that's really been doing it. I mean, Ben obviously has done a few things here and there, but you know what I've been saying about the government initiatives and all that sort of stuff. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. No? All right, I'll move on to the next subject then if nobody wants to talk. It's interesting to see that Josh Maja could be on the move again from Bordeaux as they are looking to raise 50 million euros in cash on player sales. Darren makes a good point. Meditation helps with stress and anxiety. Fo's asking where their moderators are. Darren is one. I am one. But we don't seem to have many in tonight. If they are here, they're not making themselves clear. Andy says, I still think it's crazy to start the footy if all the players aren't 100% behind it. Agreed. 100%, mate. 100%. So I say, in terms now, we obviously know what Josh Maja Not Josh Major. Josh Mayer is Major, however you pronounce it. We all know what he's like. Because we saw that he was being very manipulated by his agent in that Sunderland Till I Die program. He's a talent, of course. I mean, his agent is the quintessential definition of a man trying to make a profit off his player. Which has made quite a good question here. To be honest, I'm still certain the season won't be finished. Well, Richard, mate, they've been given the go-ahead by the government. So unfortunately, they're going to replay the football. They're going to replay it, and obviously it looks like the championship's going to be resumed as well. I know there's a lot of talk about the championship being suspended, but there's a lot of things being talked around at the moment. Nobody knows what's going to happen. We're only going to find out in the next week or so. We're going to basically find out on Monday, really, I reckon, what's going to happen. But Darren, you're absolutely right, mate. Meditation does help with stress and anxiety, but it only gets you so far, especially when you can't do anything. Now, obviously, we can go out for walks and whatnot, but it only helps with so far. Yeah, if players say no, how can it carry on? The problem. Even though I agree with you, Andy, 100%, I completely agree with you. The problem is the fact that they will just use players that do want to play. That's the problem. They will let the players. I'm guessing they will let the players sit at home, the ones that don't want to play, and they're bringing players out of the squad, or maybe from the under 23s, under 21s, whatever, to fill up the numbers. That's the way it's going to go, I reckon. I really, really do think that's the way it's going to go. Robert Aggressor says, unfortunately, it's going to cost a healthy player to lose their life before they stop football. To a degree, mate, yes. Robert, yeah, it will. But the majority of them don't. The majority of them don't have any underlying issues, which will make that situation happen. But you never know. You absolutely never know. There's always the risk. It's always the risk. Fo asks, what's your favourite film? It's Jurassic Park. The 93 Jurassic Park. I absolutely loved it. Really, really good. Really, really good program. Really good movie. I was actually watching it last night on the projector screen. I really enjoyed watching it like that. It was cool. Really good. Really good. But yeah. So guys, let me know what your favourite films, and answer Fo's question as well. Let us all know what your favourite films are. Batman quality show last night. Peter says, I would have thought that all the players and families would have been insured by the league if they have to go back to play football. That's the point. Exactly. That's why they're talking about waivers and questioning around liability if it happens. That's the thing. Ben Davis says, Goodfellas, cracking film. Absolutely cracking film. Robert says, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is his. Yeah, top movie. Darren says Midnight Express. Very good film, that, mate. A lot of people won't know that, but that's a very, very good film. Guys, if you haven't already seen Midnight Express, go check it out. Very good film. Richard says, of course, the other possibility is a team gets COVID-19 and they self-isolate and can't finish their fixtures. It's a mess. Foe, good shout, mate. Shawshank Redemption. Have you read the short story, the Stephen King short story that it's based off? Very good. Very, very good. Better than the film, and that's saying something. Mick says, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Totally with you, mate. That was one of the first movies I remember going to see when that came out. It was either that or ET. It was one of the two. When movies back in those days used to be repeated for years afterwards before coming out on video. Henry says The Godfather. Fo says he has read it. Yeah, quality, good. I'm glad you have, mate, because it's a very, very good, very, very good little short story. Really, really enjoyed it. Richard Thomas says Star Wars. I'm guessing which one? There's 9. Actually, no. Technically, there's 12. If you include the Clone Wars movie. So let us know. I'm guessing you mean Star Wars as in the 77 release, because everybody refers to Star Wars as that, because that's what it was originally all known as until 1980 when Empire Strikes Back came out. Now, guys, I don't know if for those that follow me on Twitter, I don't know if you guys watched the video that I tweeted out from Tyvo Football Channel talking about stats and how they're misinterpreted. Because Sky Sports have led me straight into this one. Because I don't know if you guys saw it earlier today, but they did a chart of everybody's likelihood to be relegated, and the top 8's likelihood of finishing in the top 6. Or was it top 8? Oh, yeah, it's top 8 of finishing in the top 6. Now, these Sky Sports said that they calculated us to have just over 20%. Excuse me, just over 20% of being relegated with the remaining 9 fixtures. Now, looking at the flip side of that, is that it's just under 80% chance of us staying up, and that's what I was talking about yesterday, the other day, when I was saying about when I was saying that the stats can be manipulated to give any answer that you want, because if you're over 20% chance of getting relegated, you're under 80% of staying up. So just when it comes to those, just when it comes to stats, just look at the bigger picture. Just don't take it as read. But Peter Jones has now changed. Peter Jones has said One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, cracking film. Andy says Star Wars 97 version. I remember going to the cinema to see it. Fo says Ben, I'm up to The Force Awakens. Oh God. Robert, quite rightly so, says the original trilogy counts as Star Wars movies. Agreed. Only the original. Yeah. Episode 3 I quite enjoyed. That was the best out of the prequels, and I don't like any of the sequels and any of the spin-off movies as well, for that matter. Actually, technically, thinking about it, there's 15, because if you count the Star Wars Endor movies as well, for that matter. Oh, they were terrible. They were awful. Mark Kerslake, hello mate, says this is not a plug. I'm sure it is, but I found a new hobby in lockdown, playing footstock. Anyone else doing it? Never heard of it, mate. What is footstock? Robert says Shawshank is a movie you can watch over and over again and again and not get sick of it. Yeah, you see different things every time. See little nuances that come out of people's performances. Very, very good film, that. Absolutely. Yeah. Ben, quite rightly so, says Attack of the Clones is shocking. Robert says, love the original novel. They did a proper job with the movie. Yeah, they changed a lot, though, because Red isn't black. He's Irish. I mean, he's proper. It's a joke in the film about it, but he is properly Irish. He's gingerhead. He's a redhead. He's gingerhead. It's that sort of thing. But yeah, they changed a lot. They dropped a lot, obviously, even for a short story. The things are slightly different, but still a very, very, very good story. Foshi said, I heard the Mandalorian series on Disney Plus is really good. Check it out, mate. It really is. It's proper old school. It's proper old school Star Wars. It's the original trilogy style. It really, really is good. back to the old days of it being a Western, which is what George Lucas had in mind, making Buck Rogers, not Buck Rogers, sorry, Flash Gordon into a Western style film, and that's exactly what it is. You have to check it out, man. You really, really do. Henry says Rogue One is good. I disagree, but that's your opinion. That's fine. John O'Connell says, "Do you like the Star Wars?" As we were talking about earlier, yeah, I prefer the original trilogy. Episode 4 was good. Mark says it was a new platform buying cars like Panini and entering them into tournaments for money. It's like the stock market and a fantasy football game. Very addictive. All right, I'll have a check it out, mate. I'll check it out. It's quite interesting. Yeah, what is everyone's favourite traditional British food? So, guys, let Darren know what you enjoy eating. John asks, favourite Premier League player at the moment? In West Ham or out of West Ham? 2 different things. I'd say outside of West Ham, the player I really like watching well is Cantwell. We were talking about him yesterday. I really, really like it. Really, really like it. I think he's a very, very talented footballer. What he does, really, really do. Yeah, I'm sure we will do, Mark. We will Google Footstock. That's interesting. But guys, you come on. I'm asking questions. Josh Madger, thoughts, please. Andy Walsh says medicine for me. Good, another very good player. Player I wouldn't mind having either for that matter. Very, very good player. So what are you guys thinking? Josh Madger. I know you've heard it, and you've had time to type as well for that matter. Robert says bangers and mash, Darren. Henry says bangers and mash as well. Mine's fish and chips. In more specifically, rock and chips. I absolutely love rock and chips. Foshi says no to Madger. He isn't proven and had a bad attitude at Sunderland. He had a bad agent, to be honest with you, mate. But yes, because all the stuff he was given was told that he was acting as his agent instructed him to. It was blatantly obvious, unfortunately. John O'Connell says it might be hard for prolific signings as we got David Moyes here. It was more what? Sorry, John, you've got to expand on that. It doesn't make sense. Ben Davis said, did he ask to leave, Madger? I can't remember. No, he asked he was coming to the end of his contract. His agent was in his ear saying, I want you to move on, because his agent was going to get a moving on fee. And that's exactly what happened. They sold him for, was it $1.5 million? Christ knows what his agent got out of that. Richard Thomas says, come on, double pie, double mash. John O'Connell says, easy to sign prolific players with Manuel Pellegrini as manager. Well, some people will disagree with you on that one, John, because apparently under Moyes, we bought in Bowen. And technically, when we apparently Souček, people are absolutely raving about. So I think Souček was more of a deal that Pellegrini was working on. But Bowen, yeah. So it's not strictly speaking true. Andy says, I've not seen the Sunderland thing. Is it worth the watch? Yes, it is, mate. There's a lot of football in it. A lot of football. It's not the most evenly balanced of programs. Like, for example, if you watch Man City's All or Nothing or West Brom's Behind the Badge stuff, those are proper document. They are the good side and the bad side. Where Sunderland's more focusing on the bad, so it's a bit bit one-sided edited program, Andy, but watch it nonetheless, mate. I think you'll enjoy it. I think you really will. Most of us are. Richard Thomas says, sorry, the original Star Wars movie was definitely the best. Yeah, agreed, because it still holds up well to this day. It really, really does. I mean, obviously, it's had like 17 incarnation versions of it over the years with George Lucas. I mean, technically, if you think about it, the original Star Wars movie survived 3 years or 2.5 years without being changed. Because if you remember, Andy should be able to back me up on this one. Because when Star Wars came out, it was literally just Star Wars. There was no episodes. It was nothing, right? It was just a movie. And then when The Empire Strikes Back was commissioned, George Lucas went back and stuck at the title role saying A New Hope, Episode 4. So, yeah, that's the way it was, and hopefully Andy, you'll be able to back me up on that. John O'Connell says, read the other comment. John, sorry, accidentally sent it. It's fine. That's cool. Fo, did anyone see either UFC either yesterday or Saturday night? Nope. I'm not into boxing, unfortunately. But I'm sure there are guys in here. Said, do you watch Tiger King from Africa? No, I didn't. It just doesn't. Those sort of programs do not interest me whatsoever. And John said, and Afterlife. Now, Afterlife, I'm keen to give it a go. But no. Other than that, Mark said, did you see the championship player video Geo did? Very good. Some really good potential players in the video. Yes, me and Charlie talked about it the other night. Because it's a very, very good and I mentioned it as well. It's a very, very good piece put together, as it always is, from Gio and Charlie. Very, very good. When they remastered the original trilogy with CGI, ruined the movies. Yes and no, to a degree. Yes and no. I know what you mean, Robert. I mean, it was nice to see the changes in there. For example, when the Falcon takes off and all the lights light up and all that stuff, that was quite cool. But yeah, the first incarnation of Jabba the Hutt, that was awful. That was absolutely bloody terrible. John O'Connell says, do you like Africa? I've never been there, John, so I can't really say, but there are certainly places in Africa that I want to go to. Foshi says MMA, JP, not boxing. I thought UFC was Ultimate Fighting Champions, isn't it? But anyway. We should target player from Bundesliga Championship and League One, I'm guessing. Glad Moyes is doing so. Yeah. And I'm guessing you mean players rather than player, because you can't select one player from 3 leagues. John O'Connell makes a very good point, actually. Boba Fett will be in the next Mandalorian series. There is a lot of talk about that. An absolute lot of talk about that. But as I said, guys, there's also one last thing I want to talk about, because the majority of the stuff we've been talking about hasn't been answered. But there's a couple of things that I want to talk about. Apparently, the River Plate defender Gonzalo Montiel has signed a pre-contract with West Ham for next season. Does anybody know who this guy is? John O'Connell, do you have Lego Star Wars sets? No, I'm 40, mate. I don't play with Lego. I know I might look younger than I am, but I haven't played with Lego for over 25 years. John, I don't even know what you're talking about half of this stuff, mate. What the hell's this? Dong N. Now this makes me happy. What the hell's a Dong N? Henry did sell Star Wars to Disney. What are you talking about? Sorry, mate, but what are you talking about? Ben Davis says he's a right back and he's 23. Has featured for the Argentine team also. Yeah, I heard about that because isn't he their cap? They're under 20s. I know he's on. They're under 23's captain. But yeah, I mean, we don't. I don't think we need a right back. If I'm completely honest with you, I don't think we do because we've got more than enough cover. I thought when he was a defender, I thought it was. I mean, I say it was. I only noticed it literally about 5 minutes before coming on live here. And Mick's agreeing with me. Same thing. That's the first time I've heard of the player's name. Yeah. Mark says he's only heard of Montiel only because ex-West Ham employees mentioned him. Apparently Lanzini recommended him. Yeah. I know he gave his blessing on it when I was reading the article. So maybe that article I was coming from came from X and Dave's podcast last night because I haven't really heard it yet. I haven't listened to it yet. Mm-hmm. Well, guys, that's everything that I really wanted to talk about. So we've got 25 minutes. Ben Davis says we need defenders anyway. I'm thinking more personally. I'm kind of thinking more centre backs than actual centre backs and a left back. Not really a right back. I think we're all right for that area. John, I've already answered your question, so I'm not putting it up again. Henry Richards, not a foggiest. I'm glad I'm not the only. It's not just me and. So I'm glad it's not just me and Mick that have no idea who this kid is, which is understandable to a degree because a lot of us don't watch other leagues. Some of us have got lives. John asks, "Are signings getting better? I remember when before Pablo Fornal signed, I wanted him. Now look at him. Also, we should play it as a cam." I'm guessing you mean we should play him as a central attacking midfielder, which he actually is for the lot of the time. He's been played of it. Mick says, I'm not taking any notice of the transfer talk before the season ends. No, agreed, mate. I'm absolutely agreed. But I thought I might make you guys aware of it just to see if it is actually true or not. Foshizi gives a good reason. Montiel is a wonder kid, will be Argentina's right back for the next 5 to 10 years. Darren says, I've been reading about the right centre back from River Plate on One Football. Seems a good signing, but don't know how much. As I say, it looks like it's a free because he signed a free agreement with us. So it looks like it's a free, mate. As I'm saying. And Foe's basically backing up what I'm saying. So we need fullbacks, maybe one centre back, and a striker. Yeah, I agree. We need a decent striker up front. That's for damn sure. We really, really do. Tone, hello, mate. Who's the greatest player of all time? For me, it's Maradona for doing it with an average Argentina and Napoli, and at the same time. And at the time was the best league in the world. He received rugby tackles weekly. That's the same question I remember you asking West Ham Fan TV. For me, best player of all time. It's a hard one. And it's probably a very standard go-to question, but go-to answer, I should say. But yeah, it's Pele for me. As much as everyone's going to give me, well, what about Bobby Moore? Blah blah blah. I remember seeing more of Pele than growing up as a kid than I did when I did Bobby Moore. Unfortunately, Andy asked a good question. Do you see Anderson, Allaire staying or leaving? Mate, I would prefer to Allaire to stay and Anderson to go. To be honest with you, I really, really would. I don't think it's respectful or indeed right on any level to sell a striker to make plans to sell a striker before he's even finished a full season. But Allaire, I'd like to see stay. Both technically could go. Both technically could stay. We have absolutely no idea. But I think Allaire, if we bring in a really, really good striker, sort of like a Hernandez from 10, 15 years ago, then I would agree. I would say Allaire stays on, and then we would have a great attacking force. Anderson just doesn't do enough. Just doesn't do enough. I don't care what his stats says. I've said many times, guys, his stats aren't decent. Stats only tell half the story. Henry says, good point. We need people that can run. Well, we need people that can make the effort and run, because it's all well and good, running 15, 20 kilometers a game, whatever the stats are, if you're not really doing anything with it. On a Bosman, Montiel is an absolute steal. I have no doubt. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought he was leaving. That's why it's a pre-agreement. Makes sense. Thanks for modelling that shirt. I'm ordering one. Do you know what, Mick? I just, as I said at the start, I really, really don't understand why the club didn't do this right from the start when they brought this out, because it's part of the kit. It's part of the original 80 kit. You know, they've got a contract with Admiral as well, for that matter, for certain things. Because the channel sponsor 3retro.com sells Admiral inspired West Ham shirts. West Ham inspired Admiral shirts, I should say. So go check those out, guys. In actual fact, some of the t-shirts they've made for the 75 era are actually nicer than what's available on the West Ham website, and the better quality as well, for that matter. I mean, that goalkeeper shirt, man, bloody hell! I saw that with when I was up at one of the West Ham Way pre-match events, and the geezer was wearing it, and I just thought that's a 10 quid 10 quid long sleeve polo. Yeah, with the 75 badge on it, and they charge 30, 40 quid. It's ridiculous. They're just not worth the money. They're really, really not worth the money. Tony says, nice. Okay, no wrong or right. So many fans choosing a player. So hard in team sports, isn't it? To pick just the one. Agreed, Tone. 100% it is, because because you can't. I mean, because somebody will pick a defender, somebody will pick a striker, somebody pick a goalkeeper, someone will bring somebody will pick a defender. You know, it's just midfielder, winger. You know, because they've all got completely different attributes in their own field and the reasons why they stick out. So, you know, some people argue that Giggs is a better player than Lampard or Gerrard. 3 completely different players. You know, so it is very difficult. John O'Connor says, John, live this, I think that means love the streams, really committed. Yeah, I'm guessing is your school kid by the looks of it. John says starting 11 for him is goalkeeper Fabianski, Ogbonna, Diop. We should sign a different left back as well, and Ngakia or Montiel as right back. Souček, Rice as central defensive midfielders. Left mid of Anderson, I could see him staying. Fair enough. Right midfielder Bowen. Attacking midfield centre Pablo Fornals and Seb Allaire up front. Not a bad idea, mate. It'd be interesting to see who you'd bring in as the left back there. Andy, I'd like to both stay. You can build a squad rather than the shambolic fast sale every season. Yeah, I agree, and as does Andy. Mick says it's upsetting Umbro. Who cares? Jack O'Connor said Friday night dinner. Good show to watch. Loved in Africa. Thank you, mate. That's much appreciated. Mick says green is way too dark. Yeah, it is. It's John asks, what's my dream job? It would ideally be a proper singer and guitarist for a band. That's where my calling is the most. Gary Pace, listen to all the politicians' football definitely coming back. Makes me think they're not telling us anything. Well, they're telling us loads, Gary. Come on, they're talking about it every other day. I've mentioned earlier in the stream earlier today that the culture secretary has come out saying the stuff that I've already mentioned, saying that things are positive and they're putting plans together, and that it's up to the football authorities. Mate, you just don't rely on what you're seeing on Twitter. You look at your country's news websites. Look at the BBC Sport. Look at loads of other different places. Don't rely on Twitter and Facebook, which a lot of people do nowadays, which is pathetic. Andy says, "Foe, I wish we stuck to a method of recruitment around players and stick to it." Agreed to it, Andy. Yeah, 100%, mate. We need it, but we're not going to get a decent transfer procedure in place until David Sullivan stands down again. John says Chelsea's academy is clearly not that good as they let Declan Rice go. I know it's irrelevant. It is completely irrelevant, unfortunately, mate. But all teams do it. All teams do it. We've let players go. We've passed on players. All clubs do it. All clubs pass on players and leave players that they don't think they're good enough. Junior Stanislas, for example, is the first one that springs to mind in recent memory. He was a junior. He played all right. Freddie Sears, okay, he's a contradiction to that because he's not been doing all that well with Ipswich. Unfortunately, he's been banging them in, but it's not been enough to put them back up to the Premiership as well, for that matter. Talking of things that aren't relevant. Thank you, Teresa, for loving this video on Facebook. Much appreciated. Harry Kane is supporting Leyton Orient next season. He's putting money in, and they're being sponsored by Mind. There was two other charities as well. Harry Kane is basically paying Leyton Orient to have those guys on their shirts. So I think it's a really, really sweet touch from him. I know everyone takes the piss out of him because the team he plays for and the amount of teams he played for while he was out on loan. Because Leyton Orient were the first team that gave him his professional start. Because he's even played for Millwall as well, if I remember correctly, and a few others. But for him to do, that's what I always say. There's always more to people than just the football. Yeah, there's always more to the players than just the football. Always say it, and it's good. It's great PR for both, for him, Spurs, and for Leyton Orient. But as I say, you always get nice touches from people every now and again. And he kind of, to me, kind of says, just think about what you're saying when you criticize people for their attitudes and stuff, And yeah, Darren's saying the same sort of thing. Yeah, nice touch by Kane. John says, how is life in lockdown? It's not good, mate. It's not good. I've been struggling with it for a long, long time. Today, I really struggled. I had to tell my boss I wasn't working because I couldn't get out of bed. If I'm completely honest with you, I couldn't get out of bed for a good few hours. I'm been really, really down with it. Talking to you guys every single night has really, really helped, and I really hope that us talking to each other every night for the last 19 nights now has really helped you guys as well. Because at the end of the day, the whole purpose of this is for us to have constant contact with each other every evening, just to have a bit of a chat. About things. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want to be talking about West Ham all the time because I try and make it as varied as possible. But there's not a lot of stuff to talk about at the best of times. Guys, you guys, every single one of you that have been watching this and other videos are what makes this channel really, really enjoyable to do. And I love you all for doing it. I seriously I do. I love the fact we have the same people coming back every other night, or in some cases like Darren, like Gary, like Andy, all coming back pretty much every single night, and it's every evening. It's good. I absolutely love it. Gary says went past the training ground again. They think they drive it into the tent to get tested. Saw one do it as I walked past. Got lots of different tents over there now. Lots of cars in the car park. Yeah, because they've all started slowly coming back to training in certain different ways. John saying, keep up the work every day. I look forward to it every day. Love it. Thanks, mate. It's the first time I've seen you comment, so thank you very much. Mick says, can you see no fans next season? Mick, it's just not going to happen, mate. It's just not going to happen. We're not going to see fans for a long, long time. John O'Connor says Lozano and Anderson swap could be interesting. Younger as well. Not sure he is. I'll have to have a look into that. Fo asks, what university did I attend? I didn't. I've been working since I was 17. Wasn't given the right options when I was a kid. Mick Smith says, and we appreciate you doing this, mate. And thank you, Mick. I appreciate you saying that as well. Not to get a yes minister style conversation going on that, but yeah, I do appreciate you saying that. Neil says I might be going back to work mid-July. Good. That's good to see. I hope. I mean, I've been working from home right from the start of the lockdown. So I'm very, very fortunate for that. It's been very, very stressful, but I'm very fortunate for that. Mike Williams, always catch up on replay. Will normally, but managed to view a live video today. Thanks, Mike. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're doing all right. All right, so guys, so that's pretty much. It seems that the chat is pretty much winding down by the looks of it. And we're coming up to the hour mark now. So, oh, hang on. Could this be breaking news? I've got an alert from the West Ham app. No, this is the last thing I want to talk about, because I said at the beginning of the video about West Ham's not communicating anything about what's happening with the refund for our season tickets. And Mick, if you didn't watch it right at the start, mate, I think you did though. But if anyone else is watching this, the season ticket holders that joined recently, and by all means, please do go back and watch the start of this, because Hammers United, the guys that have been organising the peaceful protests against the club, have written to the club asking what the hell's going on with our season tickets, and more specifically the money that we paid for the games we're not going to see. And it just really annoys me that the club are pushing 20% off everything in the store. So Mick, you'll be all right. You'll have £8 off this shirt. Yeah, it just really irritates me that they want as much money from us as they possibly can, yet they're not committing to do what we pay them for. It's, or at least talk about what we're paying for. Cheers, John. I'm not putting that up. But thank you. I much appreciated. If you like it, mate, subscribe. I don't know if you subscribed or not. Darren says, listening and chatting to you lot is not good for my mental health. Straight body clock as it's midnight over here. Well, go to sleep then, you silly old git. No, I appreciate you staying up, mate. But, you know, you need to go to sleep. Go to sleep. You need your 7 hours of healthy sleep. Thanks, JB. Keep your head up and some music for God's sake. No, guys, you know the rules. You know the rules. I've explained it to you. You know, we're on 1541. If we get to 1550, another tune's coming out. And Mick says, "Yeah, I got that alert too." Cheeky buggers, aren't they? Eh? Gary says, "Will you trying to change your seat next season? Could be lots of empty seats. Don't need to. I'm around guys I've known for a good few years. Very good fun. Very good laugh. Don't need to. If we move, if we move as a collective, then we will move. Other than that, no need. No need. John O'Connor says favorite team in Bundesliga for me is RB Leipzig. Fair enough, mate. I don't have one. I've mentioned numerous times I don't watch foreign leagues, but now the football's coming back this weekend, I will be. JP, when this is all over, you should continue with this channel, mate. I've been doing this channel for almost 3 years. And I know you know that, because I know you've commented on videos when I've done my watch-alongs, if I remember correctly, and some of the preview videos as well, for that matter. So this has been going on for a while. And he said it wouldn't put it past the owners to give season ticket refunds and club cash. Do you know what? I'm really worried about that, Andy. I really am. Fo says, I'm not like that. I'm like that. I'm interested, you know. Differences, mate. Differences. Come on. If you see me like that, that means someone's really pissed me off. But Andy, yeah, I wouldn't be at all surprised, mate. And I would not put it past them in any shape or form at all. And Danny Morgan, looking quite Brahms and list in that picture. Hello, mate. Good to see you. John Conley, make me happy. Good. I'm glad to hear it. As I say, if you're liking it, subscribe. Anyone else who's watching the channel, for that matter, that hasn't already done so, please do subscribe. Yeah, it's good they are not talking to season ticket holders. I think means that, yeah, it's not good that they're not talking to season ticket holders, but they must be waiting for a date on this season. Yeah, it's true, but they yeah, that's exactly what I thought you were saying there, mate. Mike Williams says you'll get a free pint and a hot dog if you're lucky knowing these owners. Mate, have you had their hot dogs? They're not even hot. Rancid beer and warm hot dogs. It's like that line that that geezer says in the first Transformers movie. What's his name did? So warm beer and cold hot dogs. That's exactly what it's like. And he says, "What is your favourite style of music?" It's difficult, Andy, mate. I've got a lot of different ones. Blues, I like folk, I like punk, I like rock, jazz. There's a lot of stuff. I wouldn't say there's one all favourite, but I'd say a sort of 60s style mod rhythm and blues is pretty much my sort of favorite go-to music. John says Upton Park was that loud it gave me goosebumps every time listening to Bubbles. Yeah, and the London Stadium will at some point. It will, just when everybody gets over it, gets over the mood, get used to it, and we start building it. It's gonna. I'm sure when we moved in, what was it? 1900, I think when we moved to the stadium. When we moved to the bowling ground, I think it was. I'd be pretty sure it was pretty quiet then. Because bearing in mind, in those days, guys, let's not forget. Let's not forget that in those days, football supporters were gentlemen. When we moved to London Stadium, the end of the 19th century, beginning of the 20th, suits and high hats, mate. That's what it was. Three-piece suits. That's what it was in football. That's what it was. Things have changed a lot massively, but that's what it was. Mix agree how bad the food and the drink is. Gary Page, what's your favourite film? Already answered it, but it's Jurassic Park with 93 film. John says his favourite music style is reggae. Not ragga, reggae. Cool. I've heard a bit of ragga myself sometimes, but yeah. John O'Connell, do you watch the In-Betweeners? I've watched all the TV series and both films. And Henry says, yes, he was back in those days. Peter Jones says, Club Cash, that would be a bit of a liberty. It's a bit more than a bit, mate. It's a massive liberty, if I'm honest with you, as always. Neil Ross, I don't know if he's being sarcastic or not, but do you like the Pet Shop Boys, John? No, I don't. There's a couple of tunes they've done, but as the group themselves, no. Go West was a quality tune when that came out in the mid-90s. And the original East End Girls, which wasn't the E17. The E17 did a cover version of it, but that was quite cool. Darren says the Gentleman's Game on Netflix, not a bad watch. I'll check that one out. Andy says 80s hair, metal era, Motley Crue, etc. Yeah. Don't think you've got 80s hair now, mate. Not from that picture. But yeah, a long time ago, son. Long time ago. Yeah. But guys, that's it. We're pretty much on the hour now. So thank you very much for your time. As I said, if you're new around here, welcome. By all means, please do subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. I know that the majority of 2/3 of you guys that watch these videos are subscribed, and I absolutely love you for that. It's fantastic. Obviously there's a third of people that aren't subscribed over the last 4 weeks. So you third, get you click your buttons, man. Click your buttons. but yeah, guys, it's been fun to talk to you as always. The interesting thing is, just before we go quickly, is I wanted to give you an update because I talked about the viewing figures of Gio's video and Charlie's video, and two more views on Charlie's video than Gio's. So Charlie is currently winning the battle between those two views. But in all seriousness, though, guys, thanks very much for your time. Enjoy your evenings. Absolutely love it. It's been great to talk to you, and I'll see you tomorrow night as well for that. Tomorrow evening, I should say, at 6:30, as always. As it used to be said in the Batman TV series, same bat time, same bat channel. And on that note, I wish you all a good evening.